Year-round sunshine, a fascinating culture that dates back over 2,500 years, jaw-dropping architecture and some of the best shopping on the planet. Sound interesting? If so, keep watching as today on Planet Cruise Weekly we take a look at the Arabian Gulf. Well, hello and welcome to episode 54 of Planet Cruise Weekly with myself, Keith, and him, Glenn.
All right.
Him indoors, as we call him. Him indoors. You doing all right, Glenn?
Good, mate. Yeah. Did the filming last night for the show, Ideal World. So
it went well?
It went all good, yeah.
Okay, now, up until a few years ago, opportunities to visit the Arabian Gulf were limited to occasional stops on world cruises. But then, MSC, the Mediterranean Shipping Company, did something seen as foolish by some and brave by others. They decided to home port a ship out of Dubai with the intention of offering bespoke Arabian cruises for a season. And it proved an instant success. And since then they've been joined by Costa and Royal Caribbean, and as of yesterday, as announced by Mr. Glenn Wallace, on the television, the Ideal World Cruise Show, or the Planet Cruise Show as we call it, on Ideal World. 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, so in case you haven't watched it. As of March 2017, when this announcement was made, P&O have announced their intention to join the party. So in 2019, they're going to home port Oceania.
Oceania Cruise, yeah. So but I think it's doing Malta this year and next year, but yeah, it's going over to the Middle East, which is nice.
2019.
I know, long way away, isn't it?
Very exciting.
So what's got so many people excited about this part of the world that traditionally has been ignored and overlooked by many others?
We're going to tell you right now. So we're going to start now with a brief overview of the Arabian Gulf, aren't we, Glenn?
There we go, yeah. Well, first things first, let's just clarify what we refer to as the Arabian Gulf. It's also known as the Persian Gulf, and it's basically a 600-mile long stretch of the Indian Ocean surrounded by 8 Arabian states.
Now, although 6 of these states were created in the 20th century, the whole area has its origins in ancient Persia and the Ottoman Empire, and there is a distinct cultural identity that can be seen all over the Gulf. And in fact, we owe lots to these ancient civilizations, such as the first police service and postal system, the first book on modern medicine, the humble brick, and the invention of shoes and trousers, for which we're very grateful for. Just imagine Glenn without them.
I would have thought many people did.
Plus also the creation of my favourite game, backgammon, and even the first fridge, and better still, Glenn, would you believe it, they invented ice cream.
Did they? There you go. You've been looking at your factual book, haven't you?
I love it.
Yeah. Now, this is an area of the world which at first glance may appear superficially westernised, but look deeper and the Arabic traditions and the influence of Islam run deep. The call to prayer echoes out over the cities 5 times a day. You can visit the camel market at the inland town of Al Ain if you're in either Dubai or Abu Dhabi on a Thursday or Friday. And there are many excellent local tour operators in every port who'll arrange affordable, private excursions where you can experience ancient pursuits like falconry or horsemanship.
It's a region packed full of history, but also for the more shallow amongst us, gorgeous beaches, sunny weather and incredible shopping. And now, thanks to cruising, it's finally an affordable option for travel with regular flights into Dubai from all the main UK airports and 4 cruise companies home porting there.
So today we're looking specifically at flying into and cruising out of Dubai.
So when is the best time to cruise the Arabian Gulf?
When is it, Keith?
God, thank you. How do you know I was going to say that?
Because it's on the auto cue.
Yeah, very good point. Okay, well the main cruising season starts in late October as the temperatures become more manageable and continues through until the end of March, when the temperatures will begin to climb again. Now, even in January, the coolest month of the year, temperatures only drop to around 24 degrees centigrade, and the Arabian Gulf is warm enough still for sunbathing and cool enough for sightseeing without rainfall. There's hardly any rainfall at this time of the year, which is a really, really good thing. But a word of warning. Do choose the months that you cruise in this area carefully, as if you're at the beginning or the end of the season, the heat really can build and sap your strength with temperatures up to 35 degrees centigrade. In other words, this is a guaranteed winter sun destination.
It's almost like now an alternative to the Canaries. Now, repositioning trips tend to happen in late October and early November, and again in late March and early April, and can be a great way to get a real bargain.
Okay, so let's now look at some of the main port highlights for the Arabian Gulf. And we're going to have a look again here at just the ports that will be covered in a dedicated Arabian Gulf cruise. So first of all, let's start with Dubai. Now, this is pretty much, I'd say, probably the highlight of most of the cruises, because in the middle of a desert where almost nothing existed 25, 30 years ago, Dubai sits like this glamorous movie set. Everything is the biggest, the tallest, the first of its kind. Man-made islands shaped like palm trees, the world's first underwater hotel accessible by submarine. And it's often referred to as the Pearl of the Arabian Gulf. It's one of the 7 emirates that comprises the United Arab Emirates, and it's a fascinating mix of traditional architecture and glittering modern buildings.
Now, Dubai's old town and spiritual heart is Bestekia, and its wind towers and courtyard buildings now house art galleries, and they're the remains of beguiling charms to walk in its shaded streets. The Excellence Dubai Museum in Al Fahidi Fort explains the city's origins as a tiny fishing and pearl diving port. Now, for the more adventurous of you, why not try your hand at sand surfing, camel racing, belly dancing, or a 4x4 desert safari?
Abu Dhabi, or as Glenn calls it, Abu Dhabi Do. This is the first Gulf state to export oil back in 1962. It's the capital of the UAE, and it's made up of 200 islands that are full of wonderful, spotlessly clean white sand beaches, which are perfect for all manner of water sports. Now, if you want to see what lies beneath the crystal waters, you can go snorkeling off the splendidly named Snoopy Island, or you can sit on the perfect beach and admire the city from Lulu Island.
Back in town, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque is simply a must-see. You'll find acres of cool marble, plus the world's largest chandelier and the world's biggest carpet, and it's free to visit, which is always nice. Thrill seekers will enjoy the chance to ride the stupendous 150-mile-an-hour roller coaster at the one and only Ferrari World.
Now, there is an epic 4-mile promenade that you can stroll down, with many places to stop off and enjoy a picnic. And it's dominated by 2 main highlights. You've got the Emirates flag, which is as big as a bus, and also the remarkable Capitol Gate building, which, get this, has a built-in lean of 18 degrees. Now, to put that into perspective, the slant on Pisa's tower in Italy is only 4 degrees.
Now, another one of the highlights is excellent tax-free shopping to indulge in, and even at the Yacht Club bar, there are 150 different varieties of vodka to try.
And Glenn's tried all of them.
Most of them.
Yeah. Now, our main highlight though has to be Masdar City. This is situated next to the airport, and basically it's a car-free, pioneering zero-carbon development powered entirely by both the sun and the hot desert winds that blow in. You can enter the area in a 4-seater driverless pod, and it runs on guided rails, and it's an amazing glimpse of what the future could look like.
Then we move on to Kasab, and it's called the Norway of Arabia, and is probably my favourite stop in the Arabian Gulf.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is. Deep, high-sided fjords are home to pods of playful and inquisitive bottlenose and spinner dolphins, who seem to love nothing better than swimming alongside the traditional wooden dough boats used to explore the region.
Now, this whole region is steeped in ancient history, and nearby villages boast 2,000-year-old drawings of boats, animals and warriors carved into the rock face, very similar to the Aboriginal drawings that you may find around Australia. So if you're all boated out, then another option would be to hire a car and explore the mountainous coastline, discovering those traditional fishing villages and the caves and some idyllic deserted beaches. You can also stop off at the 17th century Portuguese Kasab Castle and Museum, which offer great views out across to Oman, or book yourself onto a Kasab city tour to learn about the lives and traditions of the fishermen and the Bedouin way of life.
Then we have Khor Al Fakan, nestled in the shadow of the stunning Hajja Mountains. Khor Al Fakan, which translates as the Creek of Two Jaws, has the best beaches in the Gulf of Oman and the best diving and snorkeling as well.
Now, my advice is not to go on a 4x4 desert safari until you dock here, as it is the perfect way to explore the deep wadis hidden in the stunning Hajjar Mountains. And whereas in Dubai and Abu Dhabi there are lots of other attractions, here in Khor Al Fakan it is the main event. Now, highlights of the trips will include opportunities to marvel at the power of the famous Al Warrior waterfall, or capture a fleeting glimpse of Fallujah's past in the submerged villages of the Rifi Saddam, which was flooded in order to build this important power plant. And if you like scuba diving, you can even go and get wet with your flippers.
We then move on to Muscat. Now, in the ancient world, Muscat would have been regarded on par with Rome. This magnificent old port was once home to the moaning prophet Job of Old Testament fame, and offers you the chance to visit the palace of the Queen of Sheba. It's an enchanting glimpse into the old world of the Middle East, and as you arrive you meet the views of the lovely old town, caught perfectly between the rugged terracotta mountains and the long, graceful waterfronts.
Now, highlights here include strolling the Mutra Corniche, where you can watch the locals interact amongst the cafes and restaurants and try some of the sweet, sticky dates for which this region is famous. Or you can haggle in the Mutra Souk for beautiful pashminas and silver daggers. And as a rule of thumb, start at 50% of their asking price and don't be afraid to walk away. If they let you, which is rare, you know you have gone below their lowest price.
There you go. Now, Prince Charles has been known to scuba dive in the waters around Muscat, so that's a recommendation for you. So there's good opportunities to follow in his footsteps, or again, try one of the 4x4 safaris into the red sandstone mountains to swim in crystal wadi pools and picnic in secluded oases.
Now, whatever you do when you are in Muscat, definitely do try a local restaurant, as Muscat is primarily a city of seafood lovers, and the standout dish is called kingfish curry, where chunks of gamey fish are simmered in a broth of coconut, turmeric, ginger and garlic. But right now what we want to do is have a look at a general overview of the itineraries themselves.
Yeah, so they're usually 7 nights with an overnight in Dubai, Abu Dhabi or Muscat, with other calls in Kasab or Khor Al Fakhan, but some cruise lines substitute Bahrain or Qatar for Oman. Now, these tend to all leave from Dubai, and there are currently 3 main companies who home port in Dubai, offering fly cruises out to the Arabian Gulf: MSC, Costa and of course Royal Caribbean.
But as we mentioned at the start, in 2019 they are going to be joined by P&O with Oceania, and some itineraries, and this will include P&O, occasionally also have the additional port of Sabani Yas Island, where the entire ship's operation will decamp to the island for the day, offering beach barbecues, water sports, plus the opportunity to explore what is basically an enormous nature reserve created to protect both Arabian and African endangered species.
Now, if you get a chance to visit this wonderful oasis island, you'll be able to observe rare animals inside a protected area where the majority of animals, including giraffes, flamingos and cheetahs, live freely.
I'm not sure if a flamingo and a cheetah can live too freely close to each other.
No, it's like a buffet there.
Room for trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Celebrity Cruise Lines have also started a home port in Abu Dhabi, and they offer cruises that include the Arabian Gulf with ports of call in Dubai and Muscat before heading on to India, Sri Lanka, Thailand and eventually Singapore. And then they also offer the occasional 10-night Arabian Gulf immersive cruise with the same main ports that we've already mentioned above, but also with 2 overnights.
And they're really
Dubai.
popular, those ones. Really popular.
Really popular.
Now, other lines such as Cunard, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Crystal, Azamara and Princess occasionally call into the main Gulf ports of Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Muscat as part of a wider and longer world cruise or 2 to 3 week itineraries that may include a transit through the Suez and explorations of the Red Sea or wider Indian Ocean.
Okay, well, hopefully that's been really useful. Before we go though, what we want to do is give you some top tips for cruising the Arabian Gulf, and there are more tips here than normal because it is a very unique area and you need to take something into consideration. First thing, very simple, it's going to be very hot and sunny, so take plenty of high factor suntan lotion with you, sun hats, and never leave the ship without drinking water in your baggage.
Yeah, always say that with you, because it does get very hot. Now, be aware that in Muslim countries, the weekend begins Thursday and Friday, and they're the main days off. Many ships will try hard, if possible, to spend Friday at sea for that particular reason.
Now, while this region is often very hot, Western casual wear such as tank tops, midriff tops, really short shorts, and even short trousers really are a bit of a no-no. Women, you will really kind of want to focus on long sleeve tops and linen trousers that cover the ankles, plus maybe a scarf that can serve as a head covering, especially if you're going to go and enter a mosque. It's the culture, men can pretty much wear whatever they want, but it is a lot stricter for ladies. Everyone, of course, wears sandals, but do make sure you avoid the 2-piece bathing suits at public beaches.
Now again, if you have an Israeli stamp in your passport, you may be denied entry into many of the Arabic countries included in these itineraries, so make sure you please check with your cruise line if this applies.
Now, another thing to bear in mind is that in the UAE, many common prescriptions such as antidepressants or medications with codeine are illegal, so make sure you bring a copy of your doctor's prescription with you so that if you do get challenged when you're off ship, at least you've got that with you.
And again, it is considered bad form to photograph Muslim women in their traditional garb. Don't do it. Many of the friendlies, men and kids, will be delighted to be photographed, but do ask their permission first. And as I said, just make sure you know exactly what you're doing when you're over there.
Yeah, now sorry, that does seem a little bit serious at the end of that, but it's important that we give you as much information to help you as possible. And I think Glenn and I would both agree this is a fantastic area to go and cruise. That's why so many companies are now positioning a ship
but just
out of Dubai.
just do a bit of research, because I'm still quite unaware. You know, that in Dubai you hear about the drinking culture, whether you're allowed to have a drink and that sort of stuff. So, you know, if you're not sure, Google it, go online, you know, give the team a call here, and we'll try and give as much information as we can.
Absolutely, that's why we're here to help you. So thank you very much. Thank you for the suggestion of covering the Arabian Gulf. We're happy to have done that. If you want to find out some different information about other lines that cruise there, such as MSC, Royal Caribbean, and of course Costa, then also click the link here and that will take you through and you'll be able to have a chance to chat about that. Now Glenn, if people want to get in contact with us, how do they do that?
Loads of different ways as usual. hello@planetcruise.co.uk. You can email us, see us on Facebook. If you go onto our YouTube channel, make sure you like us and subscribe as well. It's free to do it and it'd be great to have you there. And of course we've got our website. So again, if you're not sure what to do, go on the website. We've got 16,900 cruises on there at the moment, enough to keep you occupied for an evening. And still don't know what you're doing, give us a call.
Absolutely. Now, a big thank you to the people that did get in touch. First of all, to say thank you to all the letters we got. We got some lovely letters about the luxury cruise show, which we had on last week, which we had at Goodwood House. It was a wonderful
beautiful
event.
Venue, wasn't it?
Beautiful venue, yeah. And it was lovely to meet you all and to chat to you. So thanks so much for the lovely letters we received. Also, a big thank you to these people that have got in touch via social media. John Hill said, and he put this on our because we covered Majestic Princess a few weeks back.
That's right,
yeah. And John says, booked on Majestic Princess, sail date the 5th of the 7th, 2017. Can't wait. Okay, and the other one is to Matty, who also came along to a luxury cruise show. He said, great river cruise show today and plenty of food for thought. Nice to see you, Keith, and well presented on the talks and the staff.
There you go, nice, eh?
Yeah, very nice. So thanks, Matty. Right, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, like, get in touch, comment. We love your feedback.
Yep.
From myself and Glenn, we'll see you
guys.
soon.
Thanks.